Hello, Wizarding World fans, and welcome back to my place, or this picture, whatever you're looking at when I edit this video. A few things before we get into the nitty-gritties here. This is going to be a stream of consciousness video, so it's going to be very lightly edited, and it's just going to be my stream of conscious and just my thoughts being put onto a video. This is not a review, this is a first impression, so please feel free. Turn me on in the background, put some headphones in, play a video game, do your housework, whatever you want to do. I'm not here to judge you. Just sit back, do whatever you want to do while you listen to this, because I have a lot to say and a lot to figure out in my own head to get my cohesive thoughts together, because it's the kind of person I am. Anyways, before we get really into it, this will be a spoiler free video, and once I see the film again on Tuesday, I'll probably do a spoiler talk about it. But as it stands right now, this is going to be a spoiler free. If it gets to spoilers, I will warn you, but I intend this video to be spoiler free. Anyways, continuing. There's gonna be a lot of bums. I'm sorry, guys. This is, long story short, TLDR, I liked the movie. I didn't love it. I didn't adore it. I really liked it. It is a slow movie. It is not a fast-paced movie. With The Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, with the first film, you have a really well-structured story, a very similarly structured story. You knew beat by beat, and you've seen this before. You get the mystery, you get introduced to these characters, and you just go and build from there. When it comes to Crimes of Grindelwald, it was an interesting film because it didn't have a second act. You watched the first act, and then all of a sudden you were in the climax of the film. And that felt more of a, you were writing a book to me. Crimes of Grindelwald felt like I was reading a book. And Secrets of Dumbledore felt in between that. And that's purely because Rowling had, I believe, Steve Kloves. I wanna look up his name here. Alright, I just looked it up. It was Steve Kloves. And Steve Kloves worked on Harry Potter 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, and then 7 Part 1, Part 2. So Rowling and him work very well together when they're writing the screenplays and adapting her screenplay. And you could really feel that in the movie. It was kind of weird because there were scenes where I'm like, okay, Rowling is writing. When the movie opens, Rowling is writing. When the next scene comes, Rowling is writing. And when it gets to action scenes or scenes you can feel like, okay, Rowling wrote this, Rowling's humor is in there, her heart is in there with the characters, and all of a sudden there's a switch. It's really hard to kind of explain, but there's a switch. And it feels like you're watching a different movie. So for instance, there's a scene, and it's in the trailer, and I assume that this is, when I did my trailer breakdown, I assumed this is when Newt and Theseus were finding the blast-ended skewits. They were not blast-ended skewits. I don't believe so anymore. I'm not sure what kind of creature they were. I really want to read the script. But beside the point, so when Newt and Theseus are in this area, when they are talking with each other, they are cracking jokes, they have this really good chemistry together, and as soon as the action starts, it starts off very tense because of the way the creature attacks. It's very intense, very dark, very kind of disturbing even, and it turns into a buddy action moment, which I thought was a little weird, and for a lot of the action, it felt like Rowling wasn't in control of that. It didn't feel like she was writing the action scenes. It really felt that Steve Kloves took that, and was like, no, we need to adapt it here, here, and here. And I get it. Rowling is not a screenwriter. She is, as you can very clearly tell, she is a novelist. She is an author. And the two mediums are extremely different. And I applaud her for trying to break out and to do something new. And her first success was Fantastic Beasts. Her second success, Crimes of Grindelwald. And that came to very middling. People hate that movie or people love that movie. I'm on the camp that I love that film. But it definitely has its issues. And Secrets of Dumbledore continues some of those issues. Another issue I had with the movie was each character was deepened quite a bit, but again, we just left characters in the lurch, like, entirely. This might be considered a spoiler here, so I'm not sure. I'm gonna put on big letters here, spoiler alert, but Tina shows up for literally a minute. She is in it for probably a minute of screen time. It felt like she was written out. She was not important to the story whatsoever, which I thought was kind of weird, because we saw this relationship growing in Crimes of Grindelwald, and having her not appear in the movie was a bit weird. Now, maybe that is because her and Rowling got into a bit of a disagreement on Twitter, I think it was. I'm not going to go too deep into that because not the place for it. But, end of spoilers. So I felt having that character not show up as much as they should have been there, weird. The movie really felt like it should have been called Jacob Kowalski, The Secrets of Dumbledore, or Fantastic Beasts, The Secrets of Jacob Kowalski, or something like that, because Jacob carries this movie. Dan Fogler, every scene he was in, he was funny, charismatic, humorous. Humorous and funny are the same bloody thing, but he was fantastic in this role. He brought the charm, he brought the heart, he brought the magic of the wizarding world in with him, and I absolutely adore him for that. I think Jacob is one of the single best characters in Harry Potter in general. I think he's going to go down in history as one of the best Wizarding World characters ever. And after seeing this movie, you can see why. I love him. I think Dan Fogler did a great job, and I think when he was acting with Eddie Redmayne and Alison Soul, Queenie, and a newcomer, I can't remember the actress's name, but Lala Hicks, Professor Hicks. Oh my god, Professor Hicks was fantastic. Her and Jacob's chemistry together, beat for beat, they just matched the energy of each other, and I absolutely loved it. Professor Hicks is kind of this I don't want to say like Southern, because she's not really Southern, but she has this like fast talking twang kind of thing and I love it. I loved her whole aesthetic, but again, she was one of these characters that they brought in, introduced, and I wanted to know more about her, but they're like, let's just push her over here. But I like her. Do I really have to talk about Eddie Redmayne? Newt Scamander does a phenomenal job. He's a great character. He brings a lot of the heart, like Dan Fogler's Jacob Kowalski did, but he also pushes the plot along and has a lot of interactions with Dumbledore, and I absolutely adore Jude Law as Dumbledore. And I want to talk about Jude Law here. Jude Law and Mads Mikkelsen specifically, because Dumbledore, as we've known since 2012, he is a gay man. And there is no issues with that. I loved how they handled that. I think it was very well done in this film. I remember there was a lot of backlash in Crimes of Grindelwald when Rowling came out and was like, we're not gonna talk about his sexuality in this film. People saw that we're not going to mention his sexuality at all. That's stupid, and I would agree with you, but she said not in this film. Secrets of Dumbledore explicitly makes him gay. In the very first scene, he tells Grindelwald that he loved him, and you can really feel the tension and the history between Dumbledore and Grindelwald together. Every time they're on screen, they are just I can't pronounce it. They are amazing. They are amazing together. I think they did a great job. And this is when I start having a bit of an issue. Mads Mikkelsen, great actor. Love him. this is not his role. Literally, this is not his role. Rowling wrote Grindelwald so Johnny Depp could play Grindelwald. And when he played Grindelwald, oh my god, he was amazing. He had everyone's attention. He was on screen. He was a silver tongue. He had the body language and the poise and the confidence to carry Grindelwald. And I absolutely loved everything about Johnny Depp's Grindelwald except for the look. I know that was a Johnny Depp decision. 1000% it was a Johnny Depp decision, but I liked everything he did except for the look. And bringing it over to Mads Mikkelsen, I think Mads Mikkelsen did the best with what he had, but he had some truly big, impossible shoes to fill because he's playing a character that wasn't meant for him. It wasn't written for him. And that's not his fault. That's not Rowling's fault. That's not even David Yates' fault. That is the fault of the internet and the studio interference. Like, I have so many issues. That could be a whole video on its own, and thousands of others have made a video like it, so I'm not going to go into that. But Mads Mikkelsen did a good job with what he's been given. I'm very interested to see how he takes the character forward. I do feel like he is a lot less menacing as Grindelwald, and maybe that's because I watched Crimes of Grindelwald 30 times. I've seen the movie so many times, and that ending scene in the chamber is just brings chills every single time. It keeps me on the edge of my seat every single time. And Mads never did that. Even when he had his fight with Dumbledore at the very end of the film, I thought it was awesome to see, and you could see how powerful these two were. And actually, thinking about that scene, I'm thinking about how immaculate it was, but I want to say that with the spoilers. But yeah, I think Mads will do a good job in hopefully future movies. I know the fourth script hasn't been written yet, supposedly, so we'll see where this goes. I think Credence, or Ezra Miller, did a good job. Again, another character he didn't have much to do in this movie, and I appreciated it because what his character was given to do was perfect for him. And this is another issue I'm really thinking about when it comes to the movie, is the subplots themselves start really well and then don't really combine very well at all, or they just kind of get left. Characters like Theseus, he didn't have to be there. One scene he had to be there, and then he could have been out of the movie forever, and it would have been fine. Hicks, I thought again, another one of her characters where she was gone. She was there, and then she could easily be written out and be fine. These characters could have swam in and out of the film, and it wouldn't have made that big of a difference, which is an issue entirely. And I don't know if that's Rowling's writing, and she got really in-depth. She's like, this movie's going to be 4 hours long. That's just speculation. There's no rumors. That's just my own speculation. And this movie's going to be 4 hours long. And then Steve Klove's like, no. We have to pull fans back. This franchise is failing because of what you're doing. And it is for very... Well, I don't want to even say this because I don't know a lot... I know a lot of hardcore... Well, I don't know a lot of hardcore Potter fans. But I know a few hardcore Potter fans who love the Fantastic Beasts films. But I know a lot of casual people who hate Fantastic Beasts, who despise it with every fiber of their being. I'll never understand why. Never understand why. But back to the subplots, it's just... Again, characters weaved in and out of the story. Speaking of characters who I thought was actually a great addition, Bunty. Bunty was awesome. I loved seeing her have more to do in this movie. Crimes of Grindelwald, again, she was in there for a minute, but then she got brought into Secrets of Dumbledore, and she was given so much more to do. She was funny. She was charismatic. I wish they explored her and Newt's backstory and relationship a little more. Bunty had this very sweet line towards Newt that I thought was very heartwarming and said a lot about her character, which is something Rowling's really good about doing. It's just the one line or one instance of a character where you can be like, oh my lord, I see so much what you're trying to do here. Like, Snape is one of those characters. Granted, I don't love Snape like a lot of people do, but Snape is, again, one of those characters. Let's see, what else? Oh, yes. As a hardcore Harry Potter lore enthusiast, in my breakdown video of the trailer, I said that this was the gathering of the International Wizard Confederation. I was 100% correct on that front. And we got to dive in to Harry Potter politics, lore politics, and oh my god, it was beautiful. I was grinning from ear to ear. I was so excited to hear more about the International Wizarding Confederation, more about the leader of the group and how they do their voting, and it was just beautiful. It was beautiful, and I loved it, and I loved every second of the politics because I am a weird human being when it comes to Harry Potter politics. Like, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it to you. I love politics in real life. I love following them. I don't like when people talk about them. I love following Harry Potter politics. I love like Mass Effect, stuff like that. Like very nitty gritty politics. Like I want to know everything about these systems and these laws, and what does the Ministry of Magic do here? What does MACUSA do here? What does the German Ministry of Magic do? What does the French Ministry of Magic do? I just want to know more. I'm sorry, I'm getting nerdy. And as I said, it's a stream of conscious video. But I had a few other issues with it. I felt that the movie looked a little bland. There wasn't a lot of color, a lot of very muted, dark color palettes. And when we got into some wizarding battles, like the battle between Credence and Dumbledore, it was beautiful until it ended. And actually, that's something else I want to kind of bring up. The wizarding fights are not these grand, epic things. They're very on small scales, and they probably last for a minute or two, which I like that, but I also dislike that. So it depends how you're coming from the film, right? If you are looking at the movie as this fun, lighthearted action movie, you're not going to find this here. If you're going into, and I don't know why you're trying to at this point if you're doing this, but if you're going into the Fantastic Beasts films, this is the third one, by the way, if you're going into the Fantastic Beasts films being like, well, this needs to be more like Harry Potter, this needs to be fun, and needs to be structured, and needs to be, like, simplistic to follow. No, it is not. Harry Potter itself wasn't super simplistic once you got to the later books. The movies, a bit more so, but the movies are great. Unless you've read the books, then they're amazing. But if you're going into the third film expecting Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2 type action, or the Order of the Phoenix fights, because I know the visual effects artist was in one of the behind the scenes video was talking about that DVDs wanted them to rival the fight between Voldemort and Dumbledore, which is cinematic masterpiece. It's like easily top 5 moments in Harry Potter films. You know, it's up there with the chamber scene of Crimes of Grindelwald. Like, it's just immaculate. When you try and talk it up and hype it up like that, your viewers are going to expect something more. And what they get is very little entirely. Like, there's an action scene with Newt and Theseus, and that lasts about 35 seconds. There's an action scene with Jacob and Professor Hicks, which, really cool to see, but it was done within 30 seconds. It was done within a minute, and the visual effects were beautiful this time around. There was no poor CGI cats. Looking at you, Crimes of Grindelwald, but there's no poorly done CGI cats. And that's... I like that. I liked because wizard battles shouldn't last, unless there were like hundreds of them involved, like there were in the Deathly Hallows Part 2. Wizarding battles wouldn't have lasted that long, realistically, you'd think. And that's the one thing I love about these battles, because when you go in and you think, you go in with this open mind that battle between two powerful wizards or equal level wizards, or one wizard who's very better, like very much more advanced, more skilled, and lower level wizards, that battle would not last long. And you see that because there is a line that says that Professor Hicks has an incredible defensive magic. And you see that. You see her outbeat her opponents. You see her outsmart her opponents with her defensive magic and her defensive capabilities. And I love how the movie says it, one line, it says it, and it shows it. And that is a Rowling thing to do. That is a Rowling-ass Rowling thing to do. And I adored that. Like, there are scenes, like, I'm sitting here talking about the movie and remembering the movie and being like, okay, no, I really like this. No, I really like this. Okay, actually, I kind of like this movie more now. But then I think about the poor subplots. I'm like, oof, kind of like it a little less. Actually, I want to go back to, like, I want to actually talk about Aberforth in this movie, because Aberforth was a lot more in the movie than I thought he would be. And Jesus Christ, I've talked about 20 minutes about this movie and I haven't spoiled much, or very little actually. But Aberforth is in this movie a lot more, and this doesn't have any Aurelius Dumbledore reveals in this movie. It doesn't have, like, Secrets of Dumbledore does not have that, but it has answers. And the answer we were given for the whole cliffhanger at the end of the last film, I sat back, I'm like, you know what? I was so against this at first, but the answer we were given, I'm like, actually, that makes me accept it. I think that's a very smart way to do it. And I'm one of those people who, I hate secret family member tropes. Uncharted 4, throw that shit out. Don't actually, because the game's actually very good. But I don't like secret family members. I don't like this. But when it comes to Dumbledore's family, there's so much mystery and so much just intrigue that I absolutely was okay with how they did it. They made a plot twist at the end of Crimes of Grindelwald make sense to the point where a hardcore fan like me accepted it. And I couldn't wish for more in that regard. So, ending off the video here, I'm going to give a few last notes. I've been talking and just ranting and being like, hey, please enjoy this because I'm crazy and I love Harry Potter to the point where I'm reading it in Japanese. So, let's just end the video here and say, if you are a hardcore Potter fan, and this is the same for Crimes of Grindelwald, you will love this film. Or you will really enjoy this film. If you are a casual-ass Harry Potter fan, not even a Harry Potter fan, if you just go to see this movie, because you're like, it's something to see this weekend, go see Morbius. Go see something else. You're not going to like this movie. I hope you do. I really do. I really hope more people come and see this movie because I really want a fourth one. I want the story to continue. Please, if you didn't like the second Fantastic Beasts movie, Crimes of Grindelwald, you're not gonna like this one. Just straight up, it's just not happening. If you liked the first Fantastic Beasts movie and kind of enjoyed the Crimes of Grindelwald, I'd be like, you know what? Go see Secrets of Dumbledore. There's some small revelations, some fun moments, and Jude Law is just an amazing Dumbledore, and he's like a main character in this movie. I think the movie flows very well. I was never bored in the film. David Yates did a great job directing, as he always does in these movies. He understands Harry Potter. Him and Rowling are a great, great team, and David Heyman has been producing from the very first film. So there's a lot of history between these people that just makes them a team that they can trust each other. And I absolutely love that. And I think Secrets of Dumbledore is a good movie. I'm looking forward to watching it again on Tuesday and then bringing you guys like a full spoiler video, and then I'll probably see it one more time on another day this week or next week and see it for a third or fourth time, and then be able to get all my thoughts out. Now, with that being done, thank you for listening to this 25-ish minute rant. I know there's a lot, again, streamer consciousness. I have a lot to say. I have a lot to think about. So, thank you for sticking around this long. You are a brilliant human being if you did. And please, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys all later. Have a great day.